So am I. None of us could have...
Well, I won't lie to you, Envoy. It's not every day that you learn that you're the last hope to carry on a legacy. Never literally talked to myself before either. But here we are. I just need a moment to take it all in. Thank you, dearie. And I wouldn't worry. We'll be fine.
You've listened to all of us. How about you've been shipwrecked and assassinated, harangued by gods, bureaucrats, and a death guard. You've had your soul poked, your loyalties questioned, and your sleep regularly interrupted by a god with no respect for privacy. And yet you've kept yourself and all of us together. How are you really doing?
Introspection cannot be rushed.
Oh, for sure. You've survived this long. Right. Put that sentiment away before you hurt somebody.
Well, no matter what happens, we've already survived more of the living lands than anyone else.
We've already gone farther than Nandru ever did.
When we first met, I didn't think you'd last long. But then I saw how you handled that dream thrall bear. Shook off your own death like a bad cold. And then you found your own killer and turned him in. It's rare to choose justice over vengeance, but you stood by your principles.
I didn't know much about you at that point. You were traveling with Kai and you died, which I thought made a lot of sense.
I remember your calm. How you listened to my shouting match with the governor and actually heard me. You saved my city and gave me a home. I'll never forget that.
You were my hero right away. You rescued me from those sporlings. You got my priceless fame.
And now look at you. One crisis at a time.
They're right. Not to raise the sails before the anchor, but we left trouble in our wake. If we make it out of here, it won't be to a living lands suddenly at peace.
Just this once. Could we forget about the...
If we can't take a moment to ourselves on a floating island outside reality, then I don't know where we can.
Right.
Sleep well. Tomorrow we finish this together.
Oh, Envoy, I don't think I think I just need to say some things out. It's just... We have a god and an empire both vying for our attention, and I was already unsure what to do, and now a third option appears like the world... But... It makes sense. It explains why I knew the language. Maybe. It's not an answer I would have expected. Well, honestly, I feel more... No matter what happens, even if my path doesn't lead to the library. So am I. I think... For the first time in my life, I don't know what to do.
Congratulations, Yardsley. Now...
No matter what, But this is the first time I've had more options than time. What do you... You're right. I owe it to them, and... Finally picking a destination. Oh.
He'll understand.
Well, come on. Much as I'm loath to relinquish the spotlight, we should be... And Envoy...
So those green people in the garden... Those weren't your parents?
No. They were Sapadal's dream.
Safe to assume that the large glowing door is part of Sapadal's prison. Now, we'll just have to get past it.
Let's look around. There's got to be a mechanism somewhere around here. Coming from your right! Just like the good old days.
Arms work like... Oh, well, never mind. Seems like we've drawn a crowd.
This one's mine.
Eager to meet us?
Try.
Seems like we've drawn a crowd. Looks like the gate's open. Well, what are we waiting for?
Keep your guard up. I gotta live to tell this tale.
Left leg!
On your right,
Just like the good old days.
You are so small. Then steps. A voice. Now. The rot. Your dreams. We were innocent once. But the other gods imprisoned us. But you are here now. There is little time. The Strangler is close now. We feel... She begs for... Her wolves defile the city on the shore. Blood. The people's cry. She pierces us now. A spark. Wait. You can reach her. Will the god... You will not send... We were every... We could run. We mourn our past. We only seek peace now. A chance to regrow. We trust you. You met death. The Strangler took justice into hers. We only wish to turn away. Give us peace. We want a chance to change. We deserve more than this prison. Or do you have no more mercy for us than you did for the bear? The beard... We asked what you would do with an animal that sickened after a fight. More than... Treat us as you... The time has... End our pain. Give us peace. Send... Clear the fog. We were so blind. We feel... We will grow. We will remember you.
Are we back at...
This is Sapadal's doing. We'll have time for...
Are you seeing...
Looks like the war already started.
Marius, vines don't...
Based on their growth and size.
For once, I wish... Who knows if the garden affected time, or merely our perception of time?
It's like how a body fights an infection.
Look at this place. Feels like... Those are more your people's ships in the harbor. And Steel Garrote Bay.
Even Raingrim is here.
I think I see Elia as well.
The Blessed Day Wardens are here too. That conflict we've been trying so hard to prevent started without us.
Always better.
The Steel Garrote have been itching for a fight.
Before we go, what
I'm not sure.
It's a relief that the Dream Scourge won't be a problem. Time will...
After all this time, they're free.
We've cured the land, and we've even freed a caged god.
A lot of things have gone right.
They march on still.
We should take a look.
People seem to be gathering.
Sansa, how did you make it out here?
Guy! Envoy! They marched in with no one. What? What's the point of exploring if... I took my notes and bolted. They didn't think.
Right now?
If you're looking for survivors,
How many?
I'm not sure. You...
We should move.
Envoy, wait! I took some supplies when I ran.
Why is there snow here?
That's gotta be Ringgrim's work.
A familiar face. We meet again? And you, Yahtzee.
Oh,
Paradise burns.
she must have come back.
It's remarkable how hard you mortals... Still... Perhaps. And you... Mostly, I'm curious about what... Why, Zan? I am interested in seeing the outcome of your story on... Unfortunately, you'll likely be dead the next time. Goodbye. And Yahtzee, I do...
Oh,
What happens in Donshore shall ripple across the living. Oh, Envoy. I don't know if thank you is precisely what I want. Paradise burns from the torches of this. Yes.
What's the plan of Paradise?
We will find a way to put... Whatever the outcome, if Edir and the Steel Garrote have... Future generations will only ever know us as an appendage of the Empire. I hope so. That's as much as do the right thing.
Giata, where have you been? On...
How is Emerald Stair?
Thriving on both. My revenants were just getting comfortable in Thirdborn. When I heard tensions were brewing, I thought to myself... Likewise, I'll keep them on a tight leash, just in case the Steel Garrote... Oh, and I've been meaning to thank you. Emerald Stair is healing, believe it or not. Easier step. Best of luck out there.
Thank you, Elia. My compliments to the flock, as always.
We know you.
Do you think she'll ever...
We see clearly now. The clouds part and the sun shines. Was this you?
How's Casagrada? Nobody's taking Paradis today. Not on my watch.
If you're wounded, fine. If I seem distracted... I've seen plenty of her handiwork. Unfortunately, my... funnel get... I see you've done very well.
You're a born commander, Envoy.
I don't want to go to Yezwa.
Soon as my gun's cleaned, I'll get out. I risk a jam on the battlefield. The living lands need...
Envoy, where did you come? You just...
Ah, your face. But listen to me. As...
Yes, but I'd just like for us... It's going to be up to you, Envoy.
All together now. The time for standing by is over.
They... Understood. I guess it helps we have a god on our side, right? This is just cleanup. You have a lot. Anyway. It's not that I don't want to. Talk to you later, Envoy.
You feel it too? Metaphysically, the battle is already over. But politically... I intend to send them anyway. I think that... Besides, don't stay... If I must.
Yatsley, I have a question.
Oh no, what?
Envoy, didn't think I'd be seeing you.
I hope you know what you're doing. Envoy?
Mihala told us you went into some place...
When you didn't return...
What did you see there? The god?
It's too preposterous to believe. How could a plague...
Everyone, please. It's been weeks.
Sapadal was responsible for the Dream Scourge.
So you say. But Shatterscarp is still littered with dream thralls, and Temerti is still
There won't be any new infection. Unfortunately, there's little we can do for those already in the grip. This will be a process.
I suppose it's What of this god, then? Ludwig had intimated that this land grew a new god.
Giada and I have some theories about the nature of the Adra in the...
I'd say we're past the...
If the Adra here is a closed system, then...
Much like the formation of
Wodka, no doubt, saw Sapadal as a threat to her authority.
I assume it is this god we have to thank. They erupted from the earth the moment those bastards...
Naku Tedek was riven with those things.
Similar roots had infected the structures at Naku Kubel. If they and the Dream Scourge were real, and the gods thought it best to imprison.
Altruism is fertile ground for folly.
It was Adir's arrival that disturbed Sapadal.
Having Sapadal at our beck and call might be to our advantage.
Keeping watch over Sapadal was a sacred task Nandru gave us when he...
Well, whatever happens, I suppose...
But come, we have more pressing matters to it. Inquisitor Ludwig has already joined...
You did. I kicked her corpse when you weren't looking. Just to be sure.
Well, she's seen better days.
Ludwig's run through...
All right. A bit like you're being haunted, isn't it? So long as her passion for Wodka lives.
Then we destroy her faith? I have a theory about this.
It is not, Well, you might not believe me. It was Ludwig who...
I didn't hear an answer.
She and her steel garrote laid siege to the...
We've had no new... From what we can observe, southern Paradise...
Is there nothing...
Given the state of our supply routes after the Dream Scourge, we expect the people trapped inside will run short of fresh food and...
Thirdborn still suffer. Though you may have ended the plague, Envoy, I could bring no more than a...
Likewise, my wardens are still reeling from it. The keep was saved, but there is much to repair. Most of my men remain at the keep. I can't risk them against the steel garrote for the sake of pet...
Well, we can't agree on how to stand against the steel...
There are too few of us to risk an
So you let the Paradies mill... Even if our meager fall... The siege won't end until Ludwig does. Precisely.
Because of victory here, the better question is...
Excuse me? She's a 7-foot-tall skeleton powered by...
Sure. Just...
Who else should I blame exactly? Our envoy, perhaps?
You could start with blame... Why are you treating him with kid gloves when
Enough. I've heard your...
The Inquisitor was so convinced the Living Lands would unite against Adir that she's nearly one people, one law.
What passes between Ludwig and her men, or... But if I had to guess...
Your empire is doing what it does.
Your republics are hardly any different.
As you say.
The Inquisitor answers in attacking Paradise. She has dragged...
I've answered your questions. Ludwig has sent a message to the Emperor informing him of her attack. What will his representatives find when they... Before you face Ludwig, you should know what you're... But whatever you decide, understand, the days of the frontier are done. Oh, Envoy, no. Think of the Emperor. Ones which this conclave could not survive. Not unless you came together, it would be difficult. Think of your people, all of you.
Though I'm hardly eager to work with any of you. I like the idea of twisting beneath Adir's boot heel, even less. So long as the Wardens can continue our vigil.
Thirdborn alone couldn't stand against the storm. But the might of... We could deter any but the most fearsome adversaries.
With the Envoy's support, we'd have a god in our pocket. When my people return to Fjord, we could create
We deserve our autonomy.
Fleeing someone else's laws and authority is one. We're an island of misfits and dissidents. We'll still have to surrender. We'll be vulnerable. Without allies, other powers will see us as ripe for...
We were fine before Adir came.
I think we ran things perfectly fine before...
Risk into bounty. Many fruits on our... We graft.
Of course. The Living Lands would retain its own laws under a grave appointment. The grave would be expected to promote and develop the Living Lands to... They would divide the island into administrative districts and see them governed by mayors appointed from the local community. The island would provide tribute in the form of resources and taxes, and in times of war, soldiers. The Empire, I should note, is nearly always at war. In return, the Living Lands would enter Adir's sphere of influence, and should outside nations attempt to invade, we would come to the Grave Room's aid.
We give up our fighters and the wealth of our lands, but we have wealth enough to give some away, if it means my wardens...
A grave room wouldn't be my first choice, but we're going to need a hand with all the dream thralls left in Shatterscarp. So if the Emperor's willing to pitch in, then I guess so am I.
With the Dream Scourge ended, my people can soon return to Fjord. I suppose we could send Adir what's left, but when lean times...
Naturally, that would be the Emperor's decision. Only the strong survive the frontier. But you were born... Well, give the matter some...
Tribute, he says. Taxes. Soldiers. The Empire has tried it all before. Look to the Eastern Reach if you don't believe me. They fill their coffers and fight their wars. To break...
It's still a gamble, but I think it's the safest bet. We get the benefit. There's no way of knowing what it would mean in another generation or two.
We were fine before Adir showed up, and we'll be fine when they're gone.
If we give Adir power over us...
Subtle, pernicious, cut the rot, yet the safety, a web gleaming with dew.
Of course. The Living Lands would become an extension of the... Soldiers bearing the flag of Adir would be garrisoned in their boat. Our customs would become their customs, turned toward a common purpose. This island would be safe.
The traditions of solace are what give my wardens them. I would sooner walk my people.
The only threat I see on the horizon comes from Adir itself. They can't offer us any...
Under Adiran rule, your
Well, let's... Envoy, be reasonable. Give these people an ounce of agent. Wodaka have... Well, what...
So this is what I want. I would prefer we keep to ourselves as we have, but if it will take all of us to repel your people, a united Living Lands it is.
Thirdborn can't clean up Shatterscarp alone. I'll take the Emperor's soldiers, and in exchange, a grave room.
Standing tall together, the Living Lands could be the envy of the world. I am for a united Living Lands.
Well, it's hardly unanimous, but the majority... This shall be it.
We deserve this opportunity.
Fighting a battle together is easy. I just hope everyone's willing.
God, they made the right...
Finally, some sense permeates the proceedings.
On your head. That leaves the matter of Ludwine and the steel. You must kill her.
The living lands will never be free until we...
She better say her goodbyes.
I'm proud to fight at your...
Let's get to work then.
The Paradise Militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Thank you for deserving it.
Show them that the living lands will...
We will send reinforcements to help you reclaim the... let's just say this is not my first brush with it. May all the gods of Eora...
Let's take back the city together.
Time to stop the...
Let's go.
Can't sleep. We're going into battle for this. Your emperor... Political influence is dangerous. When a godlike fights in battle, the Adirans will doubt your loyalty. The locals will doubt your commitment. This is the first time you were told to pick... All we ask in return. From what I understand, your ambassador is very persuasive, very powerful, and very accustomed to getting his way. For a politician like him, losing a battle is not a defeat. When he promises you the world, don't... I'm glad we understand each other. Time for you to get some... In truth, I've been thinking about the Inquisitor. A Death Guard clings to their existence by force of will. Ludwig is held together by... Faith is the foundation of her reality. But according to her faith, Sapadal should not... By that logic, you shouldn't exist. By staying alive, you are the godlike of a heretical... Can you imagine how much she needs you to die? Who knows? Maybe that uncertainty is enough to make her more... Or maybe not. Whatever happens. When I agreed to travel with you, I didn't think I'd find myself at the center of a political upheaval. So imagine my surprise when you gave the Living Lands a chance to unite, to prove itself, and to stand tall before its enemies. Granted, it was an uphill climb. The dreams, thanks to our struggle, the island finally... I can't wait. Agreed. But to answer your question... Thanks for talking. We should take a moment. You liberated the god of the living lands. That's quite a... No doubt it would have... If not for you, Sapadal would still... Which means you have leverage over a... You're probably better. Sapadal's imprisonment shaped this island. We cannot know if the living lands will normalize... For better or worse, maybe you'll find some comfort in prayer. No, I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. We're not finished yet. I want you to know this has been an unforgettable experience. Until next time.
You should get some... Makes sense. I've been in a lot of dangerous situations, but it's always been a fight to survive. It's just a fight. Putting my life on the line for someone else's cause. You helped me through some rough Sokka, Envoy. We're about to go out there and risk our lives for... what? We might die, all to determine who sleeps in the nicest house in Paradise until the... It's fine. Really. Right. I'll be all right, Envoy. You go get some blessed rest.
Hold it. That'll teach you!
Let the worst come. I am ready.
Stop right there!
Stand a chance!
Someone's eager to meet us.
The high say!
Stop right there! After them!
Gotta find some better armor.
That's done?
Good fight.
Who's hungry?
This one's mine. Found you. Thank you. Please get up. Found you.
Go ahead. I'll hang back and watch the gate.
Foolishness.
Envoy, what are you doing? I thought you left town. About time. You're...
I saw a few. I imagine they've been waiting for this to happen. Listen, one of the Garot's units is scouting up ahead. Maybe 5 strong. Take this key. It'll unlock the gate to the canals. You can... Suit yourself. I wish someone had stood up to... Well...
Take your best shot.
We've got company!
Watch the left.
Is someone down here?
Let's get them! On your way! Stop right there!
No time to waste.
What exactly did...
Liviana?
You nearly died in my clinic. Correction, you did die. What have you got to... That's the worst excuse I've ever heard. Kai.
Come on. I couldn't have kept them out of the action if I wanted to.
I knew you were a bad influence. We're patching up folks as best we can, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. War is a damn bloody mess. You'd know better than anyone. I can't say I approve of you leaping into the fray, but Gods be with you, Envoy.
Come on. You know this. You practiced with Uncle Capo 100 times. Tight, but not too tight.
Envoy? Out of curiosity, what It takes courage to stand. You know the Steel Garrote a lot better than we do. I'll send it down the line. Ready to make history?
Good. Now, let's kick these bastards out, shall we?
Liviana believes in me. I can't afford to let her down.
Envoy, welcome to the road. I let you have that. Watch your right.
We've taken the main plaza. I'll stay behind. Just don't do anything foolish.
You know how Adir feels about defectors. Watch yourself out there.
Boudica demands your submission. Stand against her and fall.
Let's pay Ludwig one final visit, shall we?
Lead on. I'm with you to the end.
She could use some payback for Nakukuber.
There you are.
Let's make sure she's...
So, did you come all this way just to... So you say. Look around, envoy. He failed.
Her order wields...
You can tell Wodaka you're...
Don't insult my intelligence. Treaties can be burned. As for you, Sapadal's chains are broken. I don't know how deeply you've been compromised, envoy. Do not patronize. Steel yourself up.
We would not welcome her death. There is still ample shade for her beneath our tree.
I clung to you when others rejected me for what I am. But I don't know what you are now. I give you...
I love, dearie.
I'm sorry, hon.
Then join...
Let's finish.
You...
Once... You're gone...
Show me what you got!
We are every seed in the soil. We will always grow.
This is what we prepared for. No quarter.
Come on! Let's kill her already! One last time!
Whoa! Queen among queens! Send me your aid!
Why the Inquisitor sounds worried?
Worth it.
Wodaka is done with you, Ludwig!
I say! Again! Boudica! Help me! One last time! It wasn't wrong!
worse than wrong! Worse than wrong! It burns!
Monica! Where are you? No! Don't abandon me now!
Wherever Ludwine is now, she must be seething.
Of course, we'd be happy to kill her again, if needed.
She's done for. But we're not. Whatever's next, we'll face it. Together.
Gods, you're all gonna make me sick. But carry on.
Unraveled at last. We no longer feel her wire against our flesh. We are free always. We are free forever.
Silence falls over Paradise, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. You feel Sapadal close to your thoughts, stirring with interest. The god of the living lands is observing this moment, unfettered by confusion or fear. For the first time in centuries, they understand. The Paradise militia rallies to you, the outsider who defended them in their hour of need. Whatever happens next, you have won their confidence. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The dream scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the plague came from a power beyond mortal understanding, and how it is finally at peace. Thanks to you, the living lands has escaped Adiran oppression. The free settlements unite under a common banner and begin the fraught process of negotiating new traditions and values. The Empire withdraws. The frontier remains wild, but not for long. Paradise's rebels cannot accept your version of independence. After the assassin Egwolf died in custody, only a few of his people ally themselves with the United Settlements. To them, you will always be the oppressor. The refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research to aid the local community. What starts as an uneasy partnership blossoms into a bond of trust. Through shared adversity, they find common ground. In time, the people of Emerald Stair return to their city of Fior Messiverno. Research yields new developments in the struggle against nature. Technology is shared among the United Settlements. The Empire cannot get in the way of progress. Though free, Shatterscarp is still haunted by the surviving dream thralls after the destruction of Naku Kubel. The routine hunt for the remaining monsters becomes part of Thirdborn's everyday life, another chore atop a hardscrabble existence with few comforts. The youthful make a game of the hunt, retrieving artifacts from the dead to return to those they left behind. Solace Keep clings to its long-held isolation at first, but after mourning her friend Kostya, Mihala reluctantly deigns to open the doors of the fortress. Some dwarves greet newcomers with glee. Others still mutter darkly about outsiders. Mihala flounders in her earliest negotiations with the rest of the living lands, but slowly learns compromise. She develops a taste for Valian sweets. For the first time in many years, Kai feels an agreeable restlessness. Not to flee, not to drift, but to venture. He visits the distant shores Tama told him about, and savors the modern marvels, ancient wonders, and breathtaking expanses he beholds. His heart swells, not with grief, but with awe. There is so much to discover, and he will spend his years chasing all of the joy and beauty the world has to offer him. With many of his anxieties and lifelong fears addressed, Marius now feels very differently than he did when he first met the envoy. Still far more comfortable in the wilds than among people, he nonetheless finds that his worries about the unknown were merely self-protection against the traumas of his childhood. Armed with this knowledge, he finds himself more capable of living in civilization, and far less fearful of his home in Galawain's tusks. While he never regains his former place as a warden of Solace, he spends his time traveling between Solace and Thirdborn, acting as a stubborn ambassador between the two. Giada turns away from animancy, charting a new course in life. The old rules don't apply to her. She has no responsibilities other than herself. Writing, music, sailing, sewing, love. She tries everything, masters nothing, and finds the inner peace that eluded her as an animancer. She still carries the phantasmal focus, but it doesn't feel as heavy as before. In a past life, Yatsley was given a task: protect the history and knowledge of the godless. Now, many lifetimes later, she continues upholding that oath. She moves into the library in the garden, spending her days poring over the clay tablets there. But not even the letters from, and rare visit to, her lover help ease the loneliness that fills her days. Freed from torment for the first time in centuries, Sopadal turns their prodigious curiosity to the people that shaped them. They observe the ways their people live, and they think deeply about what they see. Though they flinch away from moments of violence, and they grieve souls returned to them too soon, the rage that once shook cities to rubble no longer rules them. Instead, they come to you with questions. They want to understand. After a time, they begin, tentatively, to garden. Where they can, they improve the lives of Kith, and the suffering that troubled them is reduced, if never fully eradicated. Their grief compels them to love, and they love unreservedly, with the power of a god. Sopadal pours a fragment of their power into the statue they claimed from the temple of Aethys. Newly embodied, they roam the living lands and learn to experience the world as Kith do. Their first attempts at locomotion are clumsy, and a stand of innocent trees is violently returned to the wheel. But as their confidence grows, so does their grace. Soon, they are bounding across the plains of eastern Dawnshore, leaping the river gorge in Emerald Stair, scaling the shark's teeth of Shatterscarp, and fearlessly wading into the tusk's acid sea. When they break, they come to you to put them back together. And in time, they learn to fix themselves. They wander far afield. You see less of them, but they are never far from your thoughts. And on the rare occasion they return, they always bring you something beautiful and strange. The sounds of celebration pull you out of reverie. Many are waiting to greet you with open arms. You take a moment to catch your breath and savor it, because everything is about to change.